Hi there, it's Barry here from PredictWind. Thanks so much for buying the PredictWind DataHub. I'm sure you're going to love all it can do for you. This video will help you get started with understanding what the DataHub is, what it comes with, and how you can get set up quickly and easily at home before heading down to the boat to wire it in and connect it to your boat's N2K network. First, we'll take a look at the DataHub and what's in the box. Next, we'll show you how to connect the DataHub and the different ways you can connect it to the internet. Then we'll set a Wi-Fi password and update the firmware. We'll have a look at how tracking works on the DataHub so you can share your position with friends and family from your GPS tracking page. Finally, we'll take a look at the quick internet setup pages for connecting the DataHub to your Starlink, 4G router like a Peplink, USB tethered to your iPhone or Android, and Iridium Go exec or Go. So let's get started. So here's the things that we have in the box, and we can see that we have the power plug on the right here for connecting up to your power plug that it comes with that you can plug in the wall for at home, or to wire it up on your boat with the supplied cable here. So this is the supplied cable which you can wire in. It's got a fuse, just connect it up to your accessories or circuit that is also on with your instruments. This is a puck GPS antenna with a silver connector on here, and that is to connect up to the DataHub for like a backup GPS. So that connects up here. We've got the N2K cable, which is connected to your boat's N2K network when you get to the boat. Also has a WAN port, which is to connect to your Starlink router or your Peplink router, or like I have it connected here at home to my router, my home router. Then we have the LAN cable, which you can connect into your laptop. Say you're going to be downstream from the DataHub and you want to get internet on your laptop, then you would plug that into the LAN cable. You can also log into the DataHub through the LAN cable if you're not going to use the Wi-Fi. But we're using Wi-Fi to connect to our DataHub here today. So what we're going to do is have a look at our Wi-Fi. So I am connected to my DataHub at the moment. It says PW Hub, and the numbers there at the back end will be different for each of them. And we can see that it's not secured, so it doesn't have the lock there. So it's just open Wi-Fi. When you get it, you can just join it. So we've done that. And so the next thing we're going to do, now that we're joined, is open up a new tab and type in 10.10.10.1. So 10.10.10.1 and log in. And so the default username and password is admin, ADMIN, and we can log into the DataHub. In the internet status page, we can see that it's already plugged into the WAN port that I was saying before. So we have plugged it in here at home, and it has a green box to say that it's online there. So the next thing we're going to do is go to the Wi-Fi tab, and we will see that the DataHub Wi-Fi that we have joined has no encryption on it. So we're going to fix that by selecting WPA2, pre-sheet key. So it needs to be in 8 characters, so I'm going to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 just for testing, and then we're going to update that. So it's going to now put a password on your DataHub. So we're going to get booted off the DataHub. So you can see it's not connected there now. The DataHub's applying those settings, and now you can see it here with the lock showing. And then we would log back into it, and it's taken us back to this page. Now we can also connect to the internet with the DataHub, and we can do that by enabling it first. So we will enable the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi connection, and I'm going to connect that to the Wi-Fi here at home. Now it's going to do a scan of the different networks that it can see, and this BAS 2.4 is mine. So I'm going to type the password in to join my home Wi-Fi network here. Alright, and we'll connect to that. So it's going to show disconnected initially, and then it will just, a little bit later, it's going to show that it is connected. And we'll be able to see that we're online. So now if we go to internet status, we can see that we've also now got the Wi-Fi connection. I've got a iPhone here. I'm going to plug it into the USB tether. So that's the USB plug on the DataHub. And it's asking me if I want to trust this computer, and I select trust. And then that is going to get connected and also show us that we have a iOS USB tether connected. So these are all the different ways that you can get it online. And that will go green soon. Now we're going to check for updates. So we go to software updates. I won't do the whole process, but basically you're just going to click on check. It's going to go and see if the version that you've got, this is version 4.21, yours might be earlier. That's fine. So it's going to tell us, yep, you've got an update available. Click on the download. It'll download the update, and then it will offer you to install it. And so you just click on install, and then it will take about 10 or 15 minutes to do the installation, reboot, and then get everything set up in the background, and then you can log back into it, and you'll see when it comes back online that you'll have it available to join to. And now the account settings, we can now update our account. So we're going to go to enter our PredictWind details. So I'm just going to copy this one and put that in there. And the password, this is your password that you'd use when you log into PredictWind. And save and apply. So what that's going to do is it's going to go check online that your username and your password is valid, and it's going to let you know what subscription you're on. And that just means that if you're able to do the professional options, that it verifies that you're a professional account here. So for the professional subscription, the different things you'd use that for is for AI pollers and over the horizons AIS. So here we got over the horizons AIS and AI pollers, and standard is required for doing tracking. So now we've got tracking. So here is where you can change the settings for your tracking. So the default interval is 60 minutes. You can change that to as low as 15 minutes. And every 15 minutes it's going to send a position report to your tracking page, and this is the serial number of your DataHub. So when you want to set up your tracking page, on the bottom of the DataHub is a QR code, and you just need to scan that QR code with your phone with the camera, and it will open up a link which will log you into your satellite portal, and you put your satellite portal login details. Usually it's the same as your PredictWind details, but it's up to you if you've chosen them to be the same when you signed up and brought the DataHub. And then it will guide you through naming your boat if you don't already have a name for your boat, and it will install this serial number for you, so that will link your tracking page up to your DataHub. If your DataHub goes offline, so Starlink goes down for a little bit, or you're just out of cellular range if that's what you're using, then the DataHub won't be able to send the position reports. So those will start to build up in the network spool here. So you might see if you're offline for 7 hours, you would see 7 in the network spool. But that's okay. When you are back in range of cellular connection, then it will send those position reports out and update your tracking page. Now in the NMEA section, this is where you choose which is the data source for your DataHub. So I've got my built-in GPS connected, which is the guy that we had a look at over here. So this is the Puck GPS that's connected. This is like the backup one that you can use, and that is now plugged in. So if I go to the GPS tab, I'm going to see that it's active. I can see the time ticking over, so we know that it's all live, and then we know that that is working, so it's a good little check to do. And now what we can actually do is we can change the source to the NMEA 2000. So pretending we got down to the boat now, we've plugged in the NMEA 2000 connector from the boat, and it is, all the systems are running, so then we can change the source to be NMEA 2000 on CAN O. And then we'll do a save and apply. And now it's going to be looking at all the information you've got: wind direction, depth, speed over ground, course over ground, any information that you've got in there will be shown here. So we can see we're on the navigation tab. Now we've got our heading, our depth, parent wind speed, parent wind angle, all these other features as well. So that's good. Now it will start sending our position reports for us and updating our tracking page. So if we go to the settings here, this is where the ports are set for if you want to use Navionics or OpenCPN to receive your boat's DataHub data from your wind sensors and those other devices. And when you go to set up a data source in your Navionics, for example, you would choose the source to be 10.10.10.1, which is the DataHub, and then the port would be this. If you're using UDP is the option, it will be this number, or TCP would be that one. So those are the default settings, and you can change them if you need to, but generally don't need to. Internet AIS, so when you tick this box here, this enables the AIS that's on your boat to be sent to the internet, and if you tick this one down here, then that will allow you to get AIS from the internet. So this is very good because it has a much larger range. So in typical AIS unit will receive AIS targets between 2 and 5 miles, and with this you can extend it up to 300 miles. So normally we say just leave it on the 25 initially, get it set up. So we're going to do a save and apply here to apply that, get it set up, and you'll be receiving AIS from up to 25 miles radius around you. When you do that, just remember that it's also going to be leaving your live AIS from on your boat as they are, and only adding to the ones that are not already shown on your chart plotter. So without this ticked, you might say have 2 to 5 miles range of AIS. When you tick this and enable it, then it's going to extend that out to 25 miles, and it will just show you those extra ones further away. Here is the N2K filters, which is quite useful. You would use this in the situation where you have, say, a really good GPS on the top of your boat, and then you might have another GPS inside one of the chart plotters or screens down lower in the boat, and you want to make sure that you get the best GPS possible. So you want to be able to choose which one you have. Maybe the GPS 24XD here, that's a Garmin one, and that would be up on the top of the boat, so you would select that as your source. You can also do it for your heading sensors if you have more than one. Internal GPS, I would suggest turning this on. What this does is it means that your GPS that we've hooked up that comes with the DataHub is also being used as a source to update your tracking page. So if you were in a situation where you needed to turn off your instruments because you're at the dock for a couple of days, then you will still be able to use your internal GPS for your tracking page, and then when you turn on your N2K network and your boat starts sailing again, then it will use your other GPSs for its data source. Don't need to worry too much about the rest there for now. When you get started, if you have an Iridium Go exec, then this is like a quick setup page for that. So if you do have an exec, you would tick this and you would say, yep, I want to do tracking via the exec, and I want to do my polars and my AIS if you wanted to do that, and predict mail if that's something you've chosen to do as well. And these are just sort of quick sets. They turn on other things in the DataHub and get them set up for you. If you had an Iridium Go, you'd select that one. Starlink be the same. It just allows you to turn on your AI polars and your AIS as well, as a slightly quicker way to do it. Internet Other would be if you had a cellular router or just another thing other than Starlink that also had internet, and yeah, it's just a quick way to do that. So yeah, that is the overview of the PredictWind DataHub. Hope you found this informative, and happy data hubbing.